What's up, tubes? This is my 1984 SnowChamp power propelled 3 horsepower 20-inch wide 2-cycle single stage snowblower with the front air vane, directing chute, and straight paddles. I've had this machine for 17 years. It's now almost 35, and this is arguably one of the best single stage snowblowers they ever built, and they don't make this design anymore. It's similar to the Toro S200, but it's actually a little bit higher quality than the S200, as well as the Jacobsen Snowburst, also a little bit higher quality. Reasons why it is better than the Toro. The Toro front end flexed side to side. This one has a nice built-in chamber. The other reason this one's better than the Jacobsen is you have the on-off belt control. So the auger isn't constantly turning and wearing out the belt from that. You don't want the thing turning all the time, because what that does is burn out the belt. You want to be able to turn it on and off, the belt, the auger. But anyway, the reason why this is the best single stage snowblower that they ever built was because these auger paddles, these are the original auger paddles. They're 34 years old, okay? This machine has been used a lot in its 34-year lifetime. And these paddles are still have enough meat on that, have more than enough meat on them to carry them forward. I just turned them around today, okay? So now they work even better than they did previously. But I've used this machine in, snow that was 10, 12 inches high, and it still had no problem going through it and throwing it decent. You see, those single stage snowblowers that have the chute on them, they just don't throw the snow far enough. This thing really clears it out and throws it well. And this style paddle, it gets it right down to the pavement really, really well compared to the auger style ones on the more modern single stage. But these ones, they get it right down. They don't wear out, and it's just a little beast. It works so hard. Another important thing to mention is it's got a 2-cycle Tecumseh 3 horsepower AH600 engine. They don't make single stage snowblowers with 2-cycle engines anymore. They don't meet the emission standards of today. They haven't made a single stage with a 2-cycle engine in at least 10 years now. Everything's 4-cycle overhead valve. I want to go over some of the great features of this machine. Now, you can't order any of these parts from the manufacturer itself. Aircap Industries has gone out of business at some point. Now, Aircap Industries did make the Mastercraft brand for quite a while. MTD did get their hands on the Mastercraft brand. And I believe they also did make a SnowChamp once they bought out Aircap. But those machines were nowhere near as good as these. And there's some of the things I want to go over with this. Now, even though you can't get parts for this machine from the manufacturer, all of the important parts you can still get from other machines. The paddles themselves, you can still get new paddles from Toro for the S200. They will work fine if you needed them. They're not quite as high quality as these ones. These ones were really super thick and had 3 ridge lines, as you can see. It almost looks like a tire sidewall. That's how thick this is. And they were slightly wider, I believe. The bolt hole pattern's a little bit different, but if you had to order them from the Toro, you could drill your own holes in to make it line up perfectly. The belt. At one point, I had used this machine for 10 years. The belt was just about shot. The recoil had broken. you know, the muffler was, no, it was just mainly the belt was just about shot, and the recoil had broken. Now it's a Tecumseh recoil. The one that was on this engine was slightly different. It had a center hole to bolt onto the frame. The recoil I used to replace the old broken one didn't have a center bolt, but that doesn't make any difference. Other huge differences compared to the Snowburst and S200 is they have diaphragm carburetors. This one came with a float bowl carburetor, which is, you know, much more reliable. Those diaphragm carburetors, after so many years, the diaphragms inside of them dry up and go bad, and you have to replace them. The float bowl you never have to worry about as long as you keep it clean. And two-cycle gas doesn't go bad as quickly as regular gas because it has the oil in it. But I did clean this carburetor last year. It was the first time in the 17 years I owned it. And it still runs like a champ. Okay. I added the electric starter. It didn't have it originally. The wheels, the original wheels were kind of worn. I added these new wheels. Like I said, from a Craftsman I had, a Craftsman single stage I had with a regular chute that just was a piece of junk that I donated all the good parts from. The belt, the wheels, the electric start. I put it all on this machine. Other great feature about this machine is the muffler hooks here, and what it does is it runs all the way down to this pipe and heats this entire pipe up. What that does is it melts the snow below it and helps it to throw better. Okay, it was a great design. They don't do that anymore. You won't see that anymore. That was a really great feature that they put into this. You know, that whole thing is a muffler. That's the muffler. It runs up from the head where it's bolted on. Okay. The S200, I believe, had that feature, or the Jacobsen had that feature. Okay, that was one thing they did all have. But like I said, the Toro and the Jacobsen all had diaphragm carburetors, and, you know, over time they have to be rebuilt, and they're just a pain to try to adjust properly. Where with a float bowl carburetor, it just, yeah, it's just much more reliable, and that's the way it is. Okay, like I said, this thing throws snow much better than a machine with a regular chute for a single stage. And now I will just go ahead and start it up for you and show. Now it says power propelled. It's not self-propelled, but what it is these paddles, as they hit the ground, they move the machine forward while throwing the snow at a decent pace all the way down to the pavement. That's what makes this machine so great, and that's why this design single stage snowblower was one of the best designs they ever made. They don't make it anymore, and you know, that's why I wanted to let people know. I mean, these will keep up with the modern Toros with the chutes. They will. I mean, I use this thing commercially when I need to, when I'm not using my big machines, and this thing clobbers the snow really good. You know, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be people out there that are going to argue, oh, this style wasn't that great, or Toros are better. You know, that's your opinion, but I know from my experience using this machine 17 years, the majority of time commercially, this machine has not let me down. Okay? New belt, new wheels, added the electric start, cleaned the carburetor, just turn the auger paddles around, and just take care of it, and the thing, just, it's a champ, like it says. So now I'll go ahead and start it. It's a gas and oil mix. Here we go. I can use the electric start, but I'll just start it. Interrupted.
Plastic that came with it.
Yep. Recoil's too short.
Really?
No. I'm throwing away my good single stage. He said throw away my good single stage. Can you believe that? When I repaired it, the recoil cord was too short. That's why it's a little bit difficult to start at first. And that's why that one piece of plastic comes off. But otherwise, one of the best single stage machines they ever built. This design specifically. Alright. Yep, this style.